Context reveals meaning. It's related to the situation or environment in which something exists. This week, we're talking context clues and how you can apply those clues to your life. We're going to break these down in 5 different ways. So let's get into it. It's Ferocious Friday. Definition, restatement, contrast, inference, and punctuation. First up is definition. That's where something is explained right after it is used. So this means these are all those times in your life where things have happened and you have been able to get the understanding, or the understanding was explained and made clear to you only after the situation happened. These are our defining moments. A lot of times these are preceded by failure. Failures tend to define who we are, not the act of failing itself, but no, more importantly, how we handle it, how we process it, how we bounce back. That's where the defining or the definition of our context comes into play. Restatement, which is really just a simplification of things that were once complex. These are the situations and times in our context to where we can go back, start again, and the next time we're faced with that same adversity, we learn how to handle it and balance it a little bit better. So restatement is just that. It's simplifying or redoing something in an easier, more understood, more succinct way. Contrast. When it comes to our context, or remember the point of our purpose, contrast is so crucial because contrast is simply the introduction of something that is completely opposite to the way that we've been operating, the way we've been thinking. And with that introduction of contrast, it helps us define and understand who we are better. It a lot of times will highlight the benefits, but in most cases, it will also highlight those areas of improvement to make us better. This is the one I think, if we're honest, that we all struggle with the most, and that is inference. It's not immediately revealed. Inference is something that happens gradually, and understanding of it comes over time. Inference requires a look inside, both before and after the situation itself happens. So inference is one of the most important because that is our quiet time, alone with ourselves, with our thoughts, when no one else is around. We're not looking for input from anyone. We are looking inside ourselves to figure it out. There's a difference between a comma and an exclamation point. There's a difference between a period and a semicolon. The last one is punctuation. It's all the little things in life that end up making a big difference in the long run and the way that the story of our life is told. Seems simple enough, right? I mean, 5 clues: definition, restatement, contrast, inference, and punctuation. So what are you going to do to activate and apply everything we discussed in those defining moments when it's time to make the definition of your context and understanding not only your why, but the importance of the gifts that you've been given and not letting them go to waste? When it's time to try again after you failed, when it's time to restate, to make what was once difficult plain and clear, are you going to have the audacity to do it again? When people come into your life and they challenge that sacred opinion of who you think you are you going to embrace the contrast, understanding that it will help define who and what you are? When you're alone and there's no one else around and all you're left with is words and things unsaid, are you going to apply the inference? But most importantly, when it comes down to the small things, are you going to use a comma when you should be using an exclamation point? Are you going to use a period when you should be using a semicolon? It's time to understand that the punctuation of your life, the small things in your life, will have an impact on the end result of your story. So let's get after it. Let's go. Let's conquer change. It's Ferocious Friday.